Fellow vets, the VA is starting to claw back billions of dollars from veterans receiving VA disability pay. This is happening right now. This is something that could affect all of us. We're going to talk about the cost of living adjustment mistakes that the VA has been making for years. According to this report, they're starting to claw back even some post-separation payments in their entirety. So you're going to need to lock in because there are some action steps that you're going to need to check at the end of this video. So here it is. I'm Jordan Anderson, VA Claims Academy. Let's go. So let's talk about why this is happening. First, we'll get into the post-separation benefits, specifically the separation payments, because I know that affects less of us. And then we'll touch on the cost of living adjustments, which could affect any of us at any point. So getting into it, we have a story here from NBC. The government has clawed back more than $2.5 billion with a B dollars given to veterans to leave the military. So oftentimes, not so often, but it happens once in a while, the force will downsize. So they'll actually pay individuals to leave the military to try to help manage their force scale for whatever reason. There was a big reduction in about 2015. There were some reductions in the past, but even most recently, when you're talking about the pandemic, when a lot of people were given a really tough option to either, hey, you take this medical procedure or you get out. So if you were paid for a separation at any of these points, this could affect you, because let me tell you, this little known law that will prevent veterans from receiving that separation pay as well as VA disability. I could not believe it when I saw it. And we're not talking about a small amount here. This gentleman, Damon Bird, had to move in with his daughter in order to repay the $74,000 that he received in incentive pay in order to leave the Army in 2015. So here's the thing. The VA is actually legally bound to take and garnish your VA disability payments in order to pay back the separation incentive pay, right? The pay that they said that they were going to give you, hey, just go ahead and leave the service, we'll take care of you, you're going to get this big check. They don't tell you that you're actually forced to pay that entire lump sum back if you dare receive VA disability compensation. And check this out. This is something that even the veterans law policy experts didn't even know much about. You think that veterans really knew? So in summary for this segment, if you have ever received separation incentive pay, this force told you, hey, go ahead and leave, we'll take care of you, we'll take care of your family, here's a big check, go ahead and leave. There are clawback provisions, there's fine print that say, and the VA is brutal about this, they're enforcing it. If you receive that bonus and you now receive VA disability compensation, your disability compensation will be garnished until that balance is paid in full. Now let's pivot to something that could affect any of us. Let's talk about the cost of living allowance and the fact that the VA has been getting the math wrong. According to this OIG report, since December 1st of 2016, the calculations for the increased payments for special monthly compensation to veterans, as well as the increased clothing allowance, has been incorrect and for nearly a decade now. So what does this mean for you and I? Well, likely more clawbacks, and it could be intermittent, and ultimately, it also means that you have to check the VA's work. Not only when filing your VA disability claim do you have to check their work, you have to make sure that they've looked at the evidence you've submitted. You got to make sure to spoon feed your medical records to them, spoon feed all the evidence that you want them to see, but also you need to check your payments. Every time there's a cost of living adjustment like the one coming up here in 2025, you need to check even down to your special monthly compensation amount to ensure that the VA isn't underpaying you, or even worse, overpaying you for decades, and you get a nice letter out of nowhere saying that you owe, $30,000 back or something like that. I could just picture some intern at the VA just frantically sliding an abacus around and realizing they forgot to carry the one, 10 years ago or something. This is reality. This can actually happen more often than you would think. So it's up to us to really do the math, make sure it's correct. That way, at the very least, you can have that peace of mind. This also means that, the best defense in this case is a good offense. That means that if this was you and you think that, you could owe your separation pay back, or you could owe maybe you do the math and you were overpaid, it means that you especially have to make sure that you're not underrated for your VA disability rating on top of that. So picture getting paid less than you already deserve just to get more yanked back on top of that. So what's the best way to navigate this? Look, if the VA says you owe, you're gonna owe. They're gonna take it from you. The best way to really defend against that is to have the VA rating you deserve. So doing things like what you're doing now, right? Getting educated on your VA disability process, making sure that you're rated correctly. That will really help safeguard and lessen the blow if the VA does make a math mistake. And look, if this happens to you, even if you are garnished with your payments, they're not going to really take all of it a lot of times. So even if you have a higher increase because you won your VA disability claim, and then you got some of it garnished, it could be a wash, or you could even come out ahead even further than what you were before. So that's my only word of advice there. If you like this video, please hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and sound off with your thoughts down below. I'm really curious because I've been seeing a few clients who have gotten hit with this separation pay problem where they've gotten their VA disability after years of trying and have seen it being taken away slightly. And really that's amazing to me because that separation pay just seems like it should be separate from VA disability. I'm not sure why it's mixed up. But anyway, I'll give it to you. Sound off with your thoughts. Has this happened to you? If so, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.